Ladies and gentlemen, football is the greatest sport in the world. There is no debate about it, and the World Cup is the greatest tournament in the world. There's also no debate and no argument about it. Nothing supersedes the World Cup. The World Cup is the pinnacle of every sport. The World Cup, which is football's World Cup, is the pinnacle of sports. And football is the greatest sport in the world. Everybody, no matter where you come from, you know about football. You have understanding, a little bit understanding of football. Even the Americans now have an understanding of football. One thing that makes football supersedes all other sports is because it brings nations together. It brings rivals together. Netherlands fans, whether they are black, whether they are white, whether they are yellow or brown, they all come together to cheer the Netherlands. The United States, everybody, no matter your race, no matter your religion, they all come together. Ghana, no matter your religion, everybody comes together, no matter your political parties. You don't get it from any other sports apart from football. And God bless the World Cup. 2026 World Cup, we thought that we were going to have all these noises that we were hearing from the background. The games being held in the United States is going to be a mess, and we are not going to have a great tournament because of immigration. But when the first whistle sounded, everything has calmed down. The United States has been a haven for football fans. Everybody is loving going to the stadium, watching their teams and their countries play. It is so joyful, the passion of the fans. Football unites the nation. And as I say, it is the greatest sport in the world, and the World Cup is the pinnacle of every sport in the world. Every footballer's dream is to play in the World Cup. And it's also every referee's dream to also referee in the World Cup. It was a sad moment for the Somalian referee not to be granted entrance into the United States. So his dream of refereeing in the World Cup was lost, but I know 4 years later he'll be able to achieve that dream. But you could see even the standard of refereeing is top notch. The games are being allowed to flow. The referees are not calling any silly fouls. And one thing we've noticed in the World Cup is that players heal themselves. They do not stay on the ground for more than 5 seconds. Once they fall on the ground, they rise up because of the rules that have been put in place. I was watching today's game, Netherlands against Morocco, and the Netherlands players, Van Dijk and Brobbey, when a corner kick, they were trying to bombard the goalkeeper of Morocco, Bono. They were trying to block him. And the moment the ball was kicked in, the referee blew the whistle. It was a foul. You can't block the goalkeeper. The goalkeepers are protected. And this is what we know. Ever since we started watching football until recently, what we call the anti-Arsenal rule. Because we saw it in the Premier League and all over the leagues where goalkeepers were being blocked and it was making football a terrible sight to watch. Germany did the same thing. Anton did the same thing when Germany scored a good goal. Honestly, if the German player have not fouled the goalkeeper wouldn't have been able to save that ball because it was a very good header. The goal was chalked off. Germany are kicked out of the World Cup. Round of 32, the same as Netherlands. The Europeans were talking trash. They were talking a lot about how Africans and other continents have a lot of sports, while Europe has 16. You do have 16 fucking sports and you still complain just because Italy was not able to qualify. You qualify based on merit. Nothing is given. The fact that you are Italy does not mean that you deserve to be in the World Cup. So all the naysayers talking crazy shit about Africa and other continents have now shut up because Cape Verde is producing magic. These are the stories, the underdog stories. This is what makes sports beautiful. We want to hear the underdog stories. And that is what football is all about. So kudos to FIFA for expanding the World Cup to 48 teams. And the round of 32 has lived up to expectation. Yesterday's game, South Africa against Canada, didn't live up to expectation because it was two average teams. But today's game, it started with Japan against Brazil. And the truth of the matter is that Brazil won by 2-1. They deserve to win. Japan is a solid team, but when these Asian teams, just like South Korea, when they meet a physical team, they crumble. And when they get to the business end, they also crumble. They scored the first goal and just sat back, allowing crosses into their box. Asians are not tall individuals. So when you allow crosses into your box, you open yourself to good headers. And Casemiro equalized through a good cross from Gabriel. Brazil was piling pressure on them. A beautiful goal from Martinelli to make Brazil qualify to the round of 16. Brazil is a good team, but not a great team. This is not the Brazil we know. There was back and forth from a Japanese player and Cunha. Japanese player told Cunha that this is not the Brazil we know. This is a shitty Brazil. We don't give a shit about you. And Cunha replied after Brazil won, like, you now know the Brazil. It was a hard-fought victory for Brazil. Kudos to them. Second game, Germany against Paraguay. I predicted Brazil to beat Japan by 2-1, and it came to reality. I predicted a whooping by Germany. I predicted a 4-0, and what happened? Paraguay, with their exceptional goalkeeper, he was on top of his game. One thing about this 2026 World Cup is that goalkeepers are on top of their game. It started with Vozinha, and then the Congo keeper, the Ghanaian keeper, and then the Paraguay keeper. He was exceptional. Germany, 3 World Cups has been a failure. After winning the World Cup in 2014, they got up in the group stages in 2018, 2022, knocked out in the group stages, and 2026, just round of 32. Germany used to be the powerhouse of football, but now the smaller teams have caught up to them, and they have not developed so far. When you mention the German team, they used to be the blueprint when it comes to playing textbook football, playing it simple, cutting the opposition and destroying the opposition. Watching Germany today, it was an eyesore. They were just playing sideways passes, boring football, no cutting edge, and they didn't have any magical player. They didn't have a talisman. Germany has been a country that doesn't rely on talismanic players, that doesn't rely on individuality. They rely on teamwork. They do not have the teamwork also. They need to go back. They need to tear it all down and restructure the football course. And the third game was the game of Monday, Morocco against Netherlands. I predicted a draw, which came to pass. So it came to reality. My only failure was Germany against Paraguay. Predicted a draw, and I said if I'm putting money on it, I'm going for Morocco. They are the stars of Africa. They have set the benchmark for every African country to follow. The blueprint is Morocco national team. They have only a couple of big names, Brahim Diaz and then Hakimi. But then they play as a team. They play as the team. Watching Morocco today reminds me of Germany 2014 because they are playing the textbook football and every player knows their role in their team. They know their position in their team. They know their role and they don't overcomplicate things. They played Netherlands out of the field. Netherlands were relying on counter-attack. Back in the day, Netherlands were supposed to be the one to play Morocco off field, but it was vice versa today. Netherlands took the lead from Cody Gakpo. It was a good goal, but Issa Diop could have done better. He thought it was a foul and he didn't want his player to get a red card but then it wouldn't have been a red card, it would have just been a yellow card because Issa Diop, his player that fouled Somerville was not the last man, It wasn't a clear goal card chance, so it wouldn't be a red card. It should have been a yellow card, and he should have cleared the ball, but he didn't because he thought it was a foul. And yeah, he delayed his movement, which led to Cody Gakpo getting a good strike on the ball. It was an emotional day for Cody Gakpo after the loss of his unborn son. This is bigger than football. This is what football is all about. It brings people together. Issa Diop made up for his mistake, scored a beautiful header in the 85th minute. Game went to extra time and to penalties. Honestly, the moment it got to penalties, Morocco was going to win because they had a very good keeper in Bono. The penalties weren't great. Morocco won by 3-2. Kudos to Morocco. They face Canada in the round of 16. That's going to be a walkover for Morocco. They are going to beat Canada. Tomorrow's game are juicy games. Ivory Coast starts with Norway. Norway beat Senegal, but I can bet you Ivory Coast is going to beat Norway. There is no way Norway will beat Ivory Coast. It's going to be a 2-1 victory, and Diomande is going to be the man of the match. The second game, not my country, but my adopted country, France. And it's going to be the Kylian Mbappe show. He's going to score a hat-trick against Sweden. France is going to whoop Sweden's ass by 4-0. Watch out for Kylian Mbappe's hat-trick. And then we have the last game, which is going to be Mexico-Ecuador. This is a very big game. Ecuador are a very strong team, but they lack goals. Whilst Mexico have their whole nation behind them, it's going to be a very good game. It's a very hard game to call. I see it as a draw or Mexico nicking it. This is Bulldozer TV. Until then, it's cheers.